Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We got Jacob in Wisconsin here to talk about the huge deal that took place just a little while ago. I'm on my third podcast of the day. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little exhausted.
So the sheets are made on the couch, Clay.
Yo, bro, you kidding me? She got a pillow down there and everything tonight, man. It's happening. But obviously Micah Robinson is back on the practice squad, so we're going to break it down and talk about what that means for the Green Bay Packers. So obviously we're here to talk about the Micah Parsons trade, huge trade, man. Goody, it's funny, you go to Cowboys side and they think we got fleeced, and I'm over here going 2 first-round picks and a guy that you're probably moving on from next year because of the cap situation. Boy, oh boy. Goody cooked. There's no two ways about it. We'll dive into all of it. Before we do, if you guys would, do that YouTube stuff for me. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your evening. We're not experts here. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you here talking Packers on the daily. Pre-game shows, post-game shows, trade breakdowns, obviously breaking news, the whole 9 yards, film breakdown, all that good stuff. So if you're looking for daily content geared around the Packers, make sure you click subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time we go live. Let's hit these super chats and we're going to get into all of the news. King Tron with the super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. This is pumped. Thank you, KC97, for everything. Go Pack, go. Yeah, Kenny, we've talked about this. How many times have y'all heard me say over the last 3 years, man, Kenny's a great guy, but it's just not showing up on the field, and listen, there's a value there obviously for a guy who's a locker room leader and all that. We find out at the end of the season, battled a foot injury last year. That explained all of the one tech playing 2 gaps with the touch spy, everything we talked about there. But wish nothing but the best for Kenny Clark. As I told several Cowboy fans, you got a great human being coming into the building. If you're looking for someone to help establish the culture there, that's the dude. I'm not going to lie to you and say, hey, this guy's a great football player. I don't think he's great. I think he's good, probably would be a good assessment. But obviously, wish nothing but the best for Kenny. Next super chat here, Drake Jackson. Thank you so much, buddy. He says, that's a 10 spot. Thank you, man. He says, you called it, Clayton. No way anyone was going to give up 3 first-round picks and a player like Gary. 2 firsts and a 30-year-old is much closer to your first, third, and a player. ESP. All right, now come on. ESPN Milwaukee is what it says. Quiet here. So, listen, man. Pete, I'll say this about ESPN Milwaukee: they get paid to talk sports on the daily, and they've got to make it interesting. It is what it is. It's part of the business. Especially when you work for the 4-letter network, they seem to be, that's their thing, right? Is, hey, we got to create reactionary stuff. But appreciate the kind words. I'm going to choose to take the high road there, but I really do thank you for the super chat. And here's the thing, like the first and the third, I was talking about first, third, and a player. That was not Rashawn Gary, by the way. You know what I mean? I'm not going to BS anybody. I did not see Kenny Clark being in this deal. Did you guys see that coming at all, or did that catch y'all off guard as well?
No, didn't see that at all.
Caught me off guard for sure. Looking at it now, almost 30, and money-wise, that all starts to make sense. And I was listening to a little Cowboy stuff before we hopped on, and they were already talking like, well, what's going to happen? We're not even going to have Kenny next year. I mean, we're just bringing him in for this year. We're probably not even going to sign him back. And it's like, wow, they're talking about taking the 2 first, and they're going to try to maybe use this as a plan for their quarterback future. Maybe take our 2, move up in the draft, go get Arch or something. But dude, they're going through it.
Yeah, definitely. So again, when I said a first and a third, that's obviously we wanted Micah Parsons. We talked about that. Like, I'd be willing to give a first and a third. And as I was going through the day, it's funny. I was thinking, what if they wanted 2 firsts? I would want something back. You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking as I was out working today. Like if they came back and said, no, we want 2 firsts and a player, well, you got to give me a third back or something. The fact that it's Kenny going out there and now you're going to look to get that cap off the books, that if everything that I think is going to happen, you're going to absorb a huge cap penalty this year, and then Kenny's off the books next year. And you're still going to be somewhere around 3 to 4 million in cap space this year if you choose to absorb it all. And I think you've got to, because it accelerates to the current year. So that's kind of the trade-off for me, Jacob, is here's a player that I know we've been real vocal and we caught hell for it because there's many people that like Kenny Clark. Like, I don't see him being the answer at defensive tackle, which is why we were so vocal going into the draft. If you'll remember, Jacob, like, hey, probably need to try to draft a defensive tackle this year. And because we just didn't see Kenny as the guy of the future. Now, obviously the foot injury being explained, that kind of, okay, well, maybe he was just banged up. Maybe he'll have a much better year this year, but it's obvious Scooty was ready to move on. What do you think about that, Jacob? Anything you want to add, man?
Yeah, I think that's all pretty well said right there. My biggest hindrance was that I thought, like you said, the 2 draft picks, and then there was also people talking we need 2 firsts, a third, a fifth, maybe throw in a player like Dobbs or something like that. No, I don't want to do that. I can't taste that chicken. The fact that, like you said, we were able to scoot out of there with just giving up 2 firsts. And 1st round picks are not a small deal, so understand that, but not in my wildest dreams did I think that Jerry Jones would say, all right, you know what's going to make this deal happen is if you throw in a 30-year-old D tackle that's been on the decline for the last 3 years. That to me was just, all right, take my money. And then you walk away thinking, did you make the deal? Do we make the deal? Run.
You know? Is this real?
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, surprised the heck out of me, man. Keen Traum with another super chat. Farming tax Super Bowl window wide open. That's a fact, buddy. That's a fact. And here's what you're getting with Micah. Like we had said, he's a better pass rusher than Rashawn Gary, but not as good of a run defender. So now you've got Gary on one side, who's arguably the best edge rusher run defender in the entire league. He led all edge defenders in run stop percentage last year. And then on the other side, you've got a speed, really a well-rounded pass rusher in Micah Parsons, but mainly speed off the edge, got good bend, all that stuff. And by the way, if you want to get real creative, Emilio, you could slide him back to stackbacker with Edgerrin Cooper. And, I mean, you could fire those guys from all different directions. I think Hafley is licking his chops right now for sure.
Yeah, you could make a couple of looks, a load mug look. You could make the coffee house with a double mug look and moving people around. I mean, adding that, even if you're considering them edge back or whatever, adding that to the backer group, a bunch of speed is added. Adding that to the D-line group, a bunch of speed. And I just, like I said, we had talked about it. I just didn't want to give up a farm. We're clearance shoppers for sure. And the way I think it kind of went down was, they think that Jerry kind of outplayed his coverage just a little bit, played a little bit too fast. And they're on the Cowboys side saying, why didn't he do this back in March if he wanted to do that? Really, draw it up, make it a big deal, have everybody else bidding on it, draw up the price, then actually be able to use those picks this year. And they think that, just coming down, they had practice starting tomorrow because they have the Thursday night game. So he would have had to, they would have really had to make a decision, being able to move on from that. I feel like it was Goody was Dwight in The Office when he bought the car. And he was like, you're going to sell me this car right now. No, you are right now.
Do it now.
Sold it, man. Over.
And by the way, at the Redneck Brawl, Emilio, you remember the family that came up and we introduced you to?
Yeah. Yep.
Des, the young girl, that's Mandy's little cousin. She was like, me and Mandy babysat her when we first started dating. Like, she was little bitty. She's a big Cowboys fan. She texted me just a few minutes ago.
Oh, boy.
She said, your Packers are getting a good one, crying emoji. I didn't know what to say back. I just said, I'm sorry, sis. And she put two broken heart emojis. So, there you go.
I called my dad right away. He didn't know. He was about to take my sister to the airport, and he was in shock because, he's a Cowboys fan. So he's rattled for sure.
Got it. Josh Martin with the super chat. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, buddy. Said, if it wasn't a make or break season for LaFleur and Goot before, I think it is now. Do you think Goot was feeling the heat from Ed policy? I don't agree. I don't believe any of that, Josh. I don't think it's a make or break season for now. Listen, I don't care what coach or what GM you got. If you go out and win 4 games, your ass is probably getting fired. That's probably happening, right? It's very rare that someone kind of gets a mulligan in that regard. But if the Packers were to go out this year and lose in the first round of the playoffs, I don't think they're on the hot seat. I don't at all. Do I think that'll happen? No. I hope it doesn't happen, right? But I just don't subscribe to that. And I don't think Ed Policy was going, Goot, you better do something. You better do something. I don't think that's the case. I think Goot was being completely honest yesterday. What did he say in his presser? Everything came to fruition, right? Like it was basically, hey, look, I don't believe in that you're one player away, right? And the deal has got to make sense for us. This deal makes a whole lot of sense for the Packers. Way different than 3 first-round picks and the best run-stopping edge defender in football. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. DJ was just saying that. I didn't get to listen to the whole thing. You were kind of there, but Goody's response wasn't the cookie-cutter answer for what it's like when they're just talking about other players on other teams, right? He kind of left that open-ended, and DJ was even saying it perked his ears up, and everybody, I mean, there's new pods popping out left and right. CBS dropped one, 40s and free, they dropped one. Love this. I mean, everybody's talking about it. It'll be nice that the Packers made national news for a little while. People start talking about us.
All right, we got some, and thank you for the super chat, Josh. Appreciate you, buddy. I got a video I want to play real quick. I'm going to pull up a screen grab here. Let's. I think Halfley probably feeling pretty good. Actually, no. This is fitting right here. Right. Let's do this one. So this was Michael Irvin earlier today. I think I've got it completely covered. There you go. This is Michael Irvin on NFL Live, guys. Barstool Sports tweeted this out and said Michael Irvin 1 minute before the trade news dropped. Here's what Michael Irvin said about Micah Parsons. This was right before the trade happened. Listen to this.
Our Adam Schefter reporting that the Cowboys are now listening to trade offers for Micah Parsons. What's your reaction to that?
Micah Parsons, you can report all you want. There's no way they're allowing Micah Parsons to go anywhere. All of this is part of the negotiations. And as I talked to Jerry the other day on my podcast, and he was talking about it the other day when he tried to make that offer, he said somebody told him to shove it up his rear and all of that. I honestly, it blew my mind. It blew my mind that any kind of conversation like that would be going on in a situation like this. Micah Parsons, I want him to take control of this thing and say, I don't care about you two and whatever y'all got going. Get your butts in a room and get my money on that paper. That's what you need to be doing. So I'm hoping that's what gets done. But I guarantee Micah Parsons not going anywhere. Jerry's not that crazy. This is all what we call just negotiation stuff.
Oh, man. Jacob, what's your thoughts on that, bub?
I saw somebody here, Brambo says, well, that aged like milk on a hot day in my car, man. It's a little insane because you would think that Irvin would have a little bit of his ear to the ground there, having some connections still with Dallas and being on major networks, pontificating about NFLs and whatnot. I'm just glad that, he was wrong. And it sounds like that, it doesn't sound like he obviously was wrong. And a lot of people in the chat are asking this again about his number. People are really obsessed about the number situation. It's kind of funny.
Oh, we're talking about number 11?
Yeah, like very worried about poor Jaden Reed and all this.
One of two things are going to happen. Either Jaden Reed's going to be number 11 or he's going to have a fat wallet. Yep. One of those two things are going to happen. So,
yeah. I'm glad you pulled this tweet up, Clay, because they were talking about this on Love of the Star.
Yeah, so this was Jane Slater, who covers the Cowboys. If you guys don't know who she is, she's an awesome reporter, been with NFL Network for a while, and obviously down there in Dallas in that area. She said, I spoke with Micah Parsons this evening. He says, genuinely gonna miss y'all. He says he and his team went back to the Cowboys about an extension with, quote, empathy when the trade interest was leaked this week. The Cowboys' response, according to Parsons, was, quote, play on the 5th year or leave. Cowboys will give their version of the events tonight at 6:30 at the Star. So I've got that pulled up. They're showing it's live, but I guess the press conference has not started yet. I'm assuming that's Central Time, right, Emilio?
Yeah, no, it's live. They're just drawing it out. I mean, they have almost 50,000 watching, just looking at a screen saying press conference live.
Oh, here we go. Actually, right now. So I'm going to need get me a screen grab. And let's get it up. I just want to hear what Jerry's got to say real quick, guys. This is gonna be here we go.
So Jerry and obviously Stephen, why did you decide to trade Micah Parsons?
Well, without being too broad, obviously we did think it was in the best interest of our organization, not only the future, but right now, this season as well. We've gained a Pro Bowl player. We gained a Pro Bowl player in an area that we had big concerns in on the inside of our defense. Let me go beyond your question. First of all, I want to tell you that I really like Micah. I appreciate the 4 years that we've had him here, and he's a great player. And so we are very appreciative of the fact that he's a great player. There's no question that I could have signed him in April. And so we all know that to have agreements, all parties have to agree. But this was by design. I did make Mike an offer. It wasn't acceptable, and I honor the fact that it wasn't done in the way that he wanted to do it through an agent. So he was made an offer. There's not an ounce of vindictiveness. There's no bad feelings on my part about the fact that we didn't come together in an agreement. The facts are, and we'll cover it, I'm sure, with many of your questions, but the facts are specifically we need to stop the run. And we haven't been able to stop the run at key times for several years. And when you have the kind of extraordinary pass rush that Michael had, then the way to mitigate that pass rush is to run at you. If the pass rush doesn't get you ahead pretty big time and you're playing even or behind, then you've really got a problem in stopping the run.
All right. So obviously we don't want to play just the entire press conference, but I just wanted to kind of get his demeanor a little bit there. He does sound a little bit broken. And listen, what he's saying, you guys, that sounds familiar, right? Like this is what we were talking about when you were talking about giving up 3 first-round picks and Rashawn Gary. You're giving up your best run defender up front for a guy whose weak spot is actually run defense. So I think there's a little bit of truth to what he's saying. Put yourself in the Cowboys' shoes, okay? If they can't stop the run, their defense isn't working with Micah Parsons on it, and you can pick up 2 first-round picks and a run-stopping defensive tackle, which is what Kenny's strength was last year, and you're ready to – and this all because Micah completely fell out of, good faith with the Jerry Jones Jerry Jones and his family and everything. This makes sense for both sides. It really does. I just laugh at the Cowboy fans that were telling me there's no way y'all going to have to give up 4 or 5 first-round picks if you're going to get Micah Parsons. We're up here going, sorry, bud. He already landed in Green Bay. You know what I mean? So I can understand what Jerry's saying there, but at the same time, I think it makes sense for both sides because, again, we get to keep Rashawn Gary. That's the thing that's so exciting about this, and it's why I was so anti you. I will say it again. Anyone hearing my voice, anyone who thought it was a good idea to give up 3 first-round picks and Rashawn Gary for Micah Parsons, you don't understand football. Like, you don't understand the defensive side of the game. Like, that would have created this huge void on our defense, right? And yeah, you pick up a pass rusher, great, but if a team's running the ball back down your throat, go back and watch the 49ers beat us in the playoffs several years ago before Hafley got here, right? It just didn't make sense. That's why I couldn't get behind that whole approach. But he does sound broken. And listen, I don't hate Jerry Jones. I think he's good for the game. He's entertaining as hell, Emilio. I don't know how you feel. But Jacob, what's your take on Jerry Jones and his whole demeanor here before we move on?
Too old for this said it best. He said that's the best negotiation since Michael Scott Paper Company got bought out by Dunder Mifflin. Tell you what. Now, to all seriousness, he does sound a little worn, a little weathered. It's at times like this where Packer fans need to thank their lucky stars that we don't have some egotistical owner that is just kind of shooting from the hip. And that maybe is a little bit past his prime, and nobody has, that's the emperor has no clothes kind of thing. I don't think a lot of people in his orbit are willing to look at him and be like, yo, what did you just do? Or was even, willing to talk to him and say, put the ego aside. This is Micah Parsons. We got to get him back in camp kind of thing. It's one man's trash is another man's treasure, and I'll take that trash all day. Dump it all over me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't cut that, Emilio.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'll send that to us later. But yeah, we're happy that Jerry, kind of maybe fumbled it a little bit, got a little ahead. Not a terrible price to pay. 2 firsts is, we talked about probably the max for us. And yeah, it's going to add to our defense, right? So, how many first round picks does that put our defense at now? And where we're at speed wise and age wise, it's an exciting time.
Yeah. Carl Ward in the chat says, guys, do we have the best pass rush in the league now? We talked about that a little bit earlier today when we kind of went live when the news broke. We've definitely got the best pass rush in the NFC North. League wide, you're talking about Rashawn Gary and Micah Parsons with LVN and Brenton Cox Jr. behind them. Think of it. Who name a better pass rush? We were 8th in sacks last year while being 2nd in yards per carry allowed against the run. If we said the hell with the run and pinned our ears back, I think we would have been top 3 in sacks last year. That's just not how he called the defense, right? So now, I don't know. Can you guys name another duo, Jacob? Does anybody come to mind for you? Name another pass rushing duo in the league. You think of people like T.J. Watt, right? Well, who's on the opposite side of him?
Yeah.
You think of people like Max Crosby, but who's on the other side of him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Real quick, Packers fan Iowa says, you guys didn't want this yesterday. We didn't want this yesterday for the deals that they were proposing, which again was multiple firsts.
What the hell are you talking about? You didn't want this. We ended the show. Every time we talked about this, Packer fan in Iowa, we said we want Micah Parsons. How many times did we say it? Don't get me wrong. I want Micah Parsons. He's a great player. I'm not giving up 3 first-round picks and Rashawn Gary for him. Sorry, it ain't happening. Like, what are you talking about, dude? Did you even – this is the cool thing about our show. You can go back and watch it. It's not like it's just,
Yep.
This is a good point by Cody Newman. He says, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter would probably be one that's close, as being 2 outstanding edges there. But, man – he says to go on to say that we have a better overall interior linebacker core than that team. It is insane.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Mike is I'm eager to see how they deploy him if they deploy him at stack backer from time to time. Like when you think, and granted, it's only 15% of the snaps roughly, right? In our base defense, do you put him and Gary at the edge? Because I'll tell you what I think of when I think of our base 4-3 now, especially if you show a jam front, whether you go over, under, you just go with a solid jam.
Right.
Think of what that looks like. Your 2 interior guys, I think personally, I could be wrong. I think it's going to be Carl Brooks in the 1 tech, Devontae White in the 3. Carl Brooks just had one hell of a preseason. Remember we were highlighting that a couple episodes ago?
Mm-hmm.
So 1 tech, 3 tech is Carl Brooks and Devontae White. Imagine your edge defenders being LVN and Rashawn Gary, right? Because you're thinking of stopping the run against 12 and 21. And then bringing Micah Parsons up on the line of scrimmage, and whether it's an over or an under, that'll determine whether he's technically the Sam or the Will, which we always talk about. It doesn't really matter if it's a Sam or the Will. It's who are you playing that week? How often do they run weak side as opposed to strong side, all those things. That run defense in the base, man, that's exciting. And the fact that, imagine this too, Emilio. Imagine you're in a 4-3 over. Let's call it let's say a 4-3 over. Okay. So you've got Micah Parsons playing over the tight end, outside shoulder of the tight end in the strong set in a 21 or a 12. Let's call it 12 personnel. Strong, double tight end set on one side. And you got him over there. And they decide to allocate, they're going to pass on first down or second short. They're going to set you up to pass against your base.
Right.
And they allocate 2 blockers to Micah Parsons, and then he jab steps, drops back a stack backer, and you bring Edgerrin Cooper off the opposite side. And you're still just rushing forward, which Hafley loved to do last year. Man, that's a hell of a fire zone blitz.
Little sim with a field pressure or, short side, whatever.
you're talking about a +3 hat count in that specific draw right there.
And the speed and the ability. I mean, you're trading out Cooper for Micah on a drop. You're you're losing minimal things. I mean, obviously his coverage isn't perfect. He's not built for that. His pass rush has been 90 the past 4 years in PFF since, but you have so much more flexibility. We asked Kingsley how many times to drop last year, and how many times are we asking these other DNs to do that? And being able to flip flop with Mike, I think halfway is got to be just twiddling his fingers trying to figure out what he can do and draw up. And I'm pretty excited. And on top of that, Coach Covington getting his hands on Micah as well, and bringing that same kind of energy to practice every day, teaching him. Let's rip, shred, and I think that's also going to kind of help. I mean, I was worried about it a little bit last night, having his demeanor, whatever, in the locker room, if he's not going to approach it right, if he wants to, make it about him or the podcast or whatever. And I'm hoping that first practice there, because they have off till Monday, you just get everybody out there, say hey to everybody, cut it up, and all right, we got to get to work. We got the Lions coming. Micah, I need you to get after Jared Goff. Like that's, let's move this forward to one step at a time and see where this team goes.
Yeah. Jacob, I'm going to hit this comment real quick, and if you'll go rapid fire through the ones you got marked, I'll get us some information pulled up here as well. Respect Orange says, is number 1 unofficially retired? Do you think Jaden Reed takes 1 and sells 11 to Micah? Number 1 is officially, it's not hanging on the facade, but as I was informed by the team historian, that is set aside for Curly Lambeau. Because he was technically the first Packer, the founder of the Packers. So 1 is definitely off the table. So 1's off the table, right? 2's still good. 3's off the table. 4's off the table. 5's off the table. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I really don't. This is one of those things I don't care about the numbers. I don't know how you guys feel. I don't focus too much.
You know what I would like us to do? And I don't know if the Packers even allow this, but can he wear 0? Can he be our first stud to wear 0?
I don't think they'll allow anybody to wear 0, but I could be wrong. No one's ever done it. So
in just Green Bay, I know the NFL has had multiple 0s in the last few years.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'm simply saying Green Bay. I don't think anybody's ever done it. So there's got to be probably a reason why they didn't, I guess. Yeah. You like 0 though? You'd be good with that?
I thought it's that jersey would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, we could see. Yeah, see if that's something that's on the table for sure. He may end up with 11. I don't know, but yeah. Go ahead, Jake. We'll rapid fire there. I'll get some of these ready to go.
Yeah, Johnny B says shocked and elated. Thank you, Goody. Good luck to Kenny, and thanks for all your Packer years. That is one sentiment that I agree with. Like we say, we hate to see a guy that's given us his all for that long go, but it's just the business, right? That's the NFL. Let's see here. Mr. Jarrell Lee, he says, I was at work. Everybody why is Jarrell yelling? Go, Pack, go. I also was at work. If you guys caught the earlier stream, I just happened to be driving past my house, past my lunch break. Clayton showed the text, and he's like, anyone want to jump on? And then I realized that I was about a good hour late to get back to work.
Jacob said, happened to be driving past my house on a lunch break. Come on, bro. I know you were heading home for the news.
Yeah. Adam Kesmer says, saw podcast, Paul Farrington show, where they said Jerry originally wanted Rashawn Gary. Packers said no. Then LVN, Packers said no. Then Kenny Clark, which is ridiculous. And then the host said thanks, basically. So I don't know how I haven't heard that podcast, but it's pretty incredible there. Roger Davis says, I don't think my life could have been any better the past 2 weeks. 2 new granddaughters, and now this. Congrats, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats. Coach Lennon here saying, oh, yeah, Goody got a tight end also. Josh Wiley, a top 30 visit from a year ago.
Really?
So, okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool there. And Coach Lennon again says, we can now run with 4. We can now win with 4. Halfley must be in heaven. Honestly believe that too. JT Womack made a similar comment earlier today. He said, just put Mike at a wide 9, LVN at a 5. And man, that seems pretty scary in my opinion, with obviously Gary on the opposite side there. And then we'll get here with Hobo on Soul. Says this is going to make the DB room look a lot better too. That is for sure. What we always say, pressure pit coverage sack kind of thing. So definitely agree with that. Mr. William Herman says, I'm more curious what this means for Quay. Parsons almost certainly won't be a down lineman on early downs, meaning he'll likely be a stand-up backer. So who sits on early down nickel formations, not Coop?
All right, let's pause there. So we just kind of talked about, you saying early down nickel situations. I personally think early down nickel situations, what he means there, guys, 3 wide receiver sets where it triggers our nickel 4-2-5, right? who's going to be on the field. I personally think you would have Micah Parsons on one end, you'll have Rashawn Gary on the other, and you got to make a decision. And this is why it needs to be team specific based off the game planning you did for that specific team, right? So when you go into the week, if you've got a team that passes a lot on first down out of their 11 personnel, then you may want to roll with Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons. Maybe you put LVN in the 3-tech, or the 3-tech and Devontae White in the 1, and just let everybody kind of eat. You might go that route. If you've got a team that loves to run out of 11 personnel on early downs, then you might want to go a different route and put Micah Parsons at stack backer in that situation. And here's the thing, too, that they like to run. It's somewhat of a 3-3-5 cub. At times, what they would do is have 3 down linemen and 1 stand-up backer on the line of scrimmage. In that case, that would be Micah standing there, I would imagine. So I don't see a scenario where they're going to take Micah off the field. There's too much money that's going to be involved there, right? Same thing with Rashawn Gary, but there will be that heavy rotation as well. What do you guys think? Emilio, what do you think about that question there, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think he obviously can do it. They probably asked him to do it a lot more than he maybe would have liked, but I'm more looking forward to, we have that rotation. We're going to be able to keep him fresh. I think our NASCAR package, third down, is going to be wild if you have Rashawn, LVN, Devontae Wyatt, Mike out there, Coop Quay, and you got Bull and whoever on corners, safety. I think we're going to be in good shape. I think that we're going to have the ability to kind of flex and disguise. I think you could probably interchange Coop and Micah on probably a third to a half of their plays and be able to kind of switch that up, get different looks, and be able to change it throughout the year so that we're not giving them the same sort of look each game, each week. And man, I'm excited for Halfley. And now I want him to hang around like another year after this so that we can just build this up a little bit, get whatever happens this year done, and then run it back, because I think that they are going to be cruising back there.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. And we've talked. He plays, I think, a lot more around than most people give him credit for, especially in his earlier years. But it also would be nice because he's used to, I think, playing like 80 to 90% of the snaps. And while that may be good in certain aspects, it's a double-edged sword. So for him, maybe getting to have a breather and really be able to be a human meat missile that's locked and loaded a little more frequently throughout the game, I think is going to be a big plus for our defense too.
Yeah, definitely. Love this tweet by the Green Bay Packers, man. Their social media team really stepped up last couple of years. Micah Parsons, no matter what, on the tick, if you guys have ever seen draft day. So love the fact that they put that out there. Yeah.
Goody had it in his pocket all presser yesterday.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All day long. Let's hit a little financial discussion here, if that's all right with you guys. Talking a little budgeting. And this came in from Spot Track earlier today. All right. So we'll get that. Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. Spot Track tweeted out, Packers acquire edge defender Micah Parsons. Cowboys get 2026 first-round pick, 2027 first-round pick. Kenny Clark, and his cap hits will be $2.3 million against the cap in 25. It jumps to $21.5 in 2026. And then $20 million in 2027. That's what we were talking about, how it made sense to kind of get out. Now, we actually got out 1 year early, which is why you're absorbing such a big cap penalty there. Right. Green Bay signs Parsons to a 4-year, $188 million extension that includes $136 million guaranteed, $120 million full at signing. I was projecting 110 to 115, so they went a little higher there. Clark leaves behind dead hits of $18 million in 2025. And $17 million in 2026. Pretty sure that will accelerate to the current year. I don't know if they can get around that. But with that being said, I've got the cap table here pulled up. Now, keep in mind, the Parsons stuff is not finalized yet, okay? What I wanted to show you guys is the 2026 cap table here for the Green Bay Packers, okay? If I can get it to zoom in just enough here, hopefully. So look at the cap space next year, $44.8 million in cap space. This is before Micah Parsons' cap hit next year. They're projecting his cap hit, and this is early in the process. Spot Track's projecting his cap hit to be around $35 million next year. Okay, so if that's the case, as it sits right now, next year you're $9 million under the cap. So you're kind of up against the gun. But as we always talk about, look at the cap hits, look at the structure of the contracts, and where can you free up cap space to sign guys to future contracts, converting base salary to signing bonus and tacking on voidable years. We're kind of back in that ballpark now. If the Packers have a success that we're expecting them to have this year, The window's open. You're probably going to see the voidable years resurface. We stayed away from that this past year and kind of cleaned the books up. Now you're going to start pushing some money out and making this whole thing work. When you look at 2025, and again, this stuff is somewhat estimated. Notice they got Micah Parsons cap hit at $21.3 million. I've also seen another structure where it's only $11 million. That's what will determine whether or not they're going to, front load it, back load it, what have you. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. So next year or this year, Rashawn Gary's cap hit's $25.7 million. But if we were to pull up Gary's contract here, you'll notice next year in 2026, his cap hit is $28 million, right? And let me get it zoomed out here just a touch. The dead cap attached, however, is only $17 million. What that means is you can move on from Gary next year and free up $11 million in cap space. Not that you want to. However, when you look at the base salary, converting some of that to signing bonus, tack on 2 voidable years, you keep Gary around, you're making a decision on LVN. You may want to deal Gary next year. If LVN rises to the occasion, now you're back to 2 edge rushers and you're off and running. So that makes sense.
Man, it does, and it's just crazy how good lined it all up. I mean, with the team, obviously, but putting all this together, trying to figure out the dates. Kenny being a basically three contract guy here, 10 years. Not like he hasn't given his all for this team. And hey, it was just time to go. It's not for long. NFL for a reason. And tough. Listening to some of the interviews, you hear Kenny in there earlier this year. They get through OTAs, get through practice, and everything. And it's like, all right, man, I'm packing up the house and I'm moving to Texas. So I'm excited for Micah. I'm glad that he's played at Penn State before. He's already been used to the cold. He got used to the heat down there in Dallas, but hey, that's not going to be really a worry for me. Grew up in Pennsylvania as a kid, so the weather I don't think is going to be a problem. I think that he's going to love. They were talking on Love of the Star, like there's nothing to do up in Green Bay besides football. I think that might be absolutely perfect for him. Hey, man, we're here to play ball, to bring home a Lombardi. If that's what you were chasing in Dallas, everybody in that locker room has the same exact thought and appreciation for that. So let's go ahead and put our ears down and get to it this year.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Our Lads has a new depth chart added to the mix here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this image added in real quick. And let's just see what it looks like here, what they're projecting in our nickel 4-2-5. I think we all know what it's going to be, but it's just going to be cool to see it on paper for the first time with Micah Parsons added to the roster. And this is what Our Lads has in terms of that. Let me hit Drew D's chat real quick, and then we'll hit this. Drew D says, how did we end up with a first-round wide receiver, the NFL draft, and a trade for one of the best players in the NFL all in the same year? It almost feels like, Drew, the stars are aligning, right? And again, it's just the reason I say they're aligning, Emilio, is the fact you didn't have to sell the farm to get him. That's what's crazy. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of compensation, but man, it seems like true fair market value for what Micah Parsons is as a player, I believe.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think we got a little bit of a deal there, but I think it was fair. I mean, you had to give up something of value. It's not like one of those where you can just force trade in Madden, right, Clay? You can't just give up 2 firsts and keep everybody and have there had to be some movement, and the Cowboys had to agree to it. We had to agree to the contract that we wanted to give Micah, right? Then we had to agree. Then Dallas had to agree with making sure that they liked our compensation to them. So I think it all kind of worked out. If they're happy with the 2 first and Kenny, hats off to them. Hope Kenny does a good run for their run defense if that's what they're planning to do. They need a lot of help there. They got Osa Digizua, and they got a couple guys on the inside that really need some guidance. I think Kenny can do that. But, dude, us being able to make that happen, bring it here. I don't know if you're going to hear a lot from the Goody haters probably in the next couple of days. I think they might be a little quiet about this.
Well, they're finishing up summer vacation. It ain't that they're
right.
Bored, you know what I mean? So when you look at the edge room here, Micah Parsons at right defensive end is what they got. Rashawn Gary at left defensive end. Nose tackle, exactly what we talked about. Carl Brooks playing the 1 tech, Devontae Wyatt in the 3. Nazir Stackhouse backing Carl Brooks up at the nose. Kobe Wooden is the backup 3 tech, it looks like, in this projection. Obviously, you got Warren Brinson as well. So that's kind of how the defensive line shakes up. You also may see Baron Sorrell once he's healthy. He may kick inside from time to time. You may see LVN in there as well. So I'm telling you, man, that's a 4 deep pass rush there. And I'm going to continue to say if LVN is improving like is being reported out of camp, and Emilio, I mean, it's not just the beat reporters reporting it. We've seen it firsthand too, right?
Yeah.
Like it looks like he's taken a huge step. If that's the case, you're 4 deep, man. Brenton Cox Jr. and LVN coming off the bench behind Micah Parsons and Rashawn Gary is really, really exciting. And Carl Brooks has the world in his hands right now. He has the perfect opportunity to grab a hold of that one tech and be prepared to get a contract in the next couple of years if he shows up this year as well. Yeah. So that's really exciting. Dan Mullen with the super chat. Sorry if you all discussed this already. I apologize for the dog. Can you hear him, Emilio?
A little bit, but that's fine. They're just protecting the house.
Yeah, it means Mandy's home. That's what that is. So, Dan Mullen, sorry if you all discussed this already, but do you think, pure speculation, that they were dangling Walker over Clark? I don't think they were. I personally haven't heard that. You guys let me know in the chat if you have heard that.
Quay or Sheed?
That's a good question. I was thinking Quay, but he may have meant Sheed. Let us know, Dan. What do you mean? Do you mean Rasheed Walker or Quay Walker there? I'll answer Quay Walker, and you tell me if you think. Okay. Jake Olsen and Quay. We'll go with that right there. That's right, Drew. Mandy is the one that gives them the treats. I promise you that. So Quay Walker, that would make sense, right? Last year of his contract, right? And obviously, when you look at the backup stack backer spot, who do you got? Tyron Hopper seems to have taken a step, like we're talking about Carl Brooks potentially taking a step according to preseason play. That would make a lot of sense that you'd be willing to part ways with Quay Walker, although the contract, you wouldn't be freeing up as much space, obviously, moving forward as you would.
And Dan did get back to his play. He was talking about Rasheed.
Got it. So what do you think about that, Emilio? I would have been okay with that, seeing that they just traded for another offensive lineman from the Eagles, right? That kind of makes sense. And Jordan Morgan, again, we're basing this off preseason play, but he looked really good at left tackle, way better than he did at any guard position at left tackle in the preseason.
Right, yeah. Jordan Morgan's going to get playing time. So if at some point you need to make a decision on Sheed, yeah, I think that's going to be the move. But and even dangling it, I would say you're probably wanting to protect your star quarterback with an offensive lineman before you maybe go and spend a little bit more at nose tackle. And I mean, we had talked about that all offseason. We need a 3-tech. And we thought that was going to be the move in the draft. We kind of waited till the end, got more of like a 1-tech or 2 1-techs, and we're going to bank on the 3s that we had in place. You had Devontae Wyatt, Carl Brooks, Kobe Wood, and Carl and Kobe coming in at the same time. Both of them on their the same 4-year track. Then we got Nazir and Brinson coming in on a 4-year track. I think our inside is set. You bring in a little bit more heat and firepower ever since Preston left. Not that he was, the all-star or anything, but we were kind of leaning on him. He got a majority of snaps. I think we're going to kind of fall back to that with Rashawn and Micah and then rotate. So I feel like it's just going to be a fresh D-line. Maybe we don't have a Chris Jones or an Aaron Donald, but hopefully we get the production of having, a star 3-tech in the middle, Dexter, whoever it is, with a rotation of just dogs out there at this point.
Yeah. Holmes MD1 says, I'm not thrilled that the guy has a back injury. Holmes, are you talking about Micah Parsons? If you guys could specify, like when you make a comment like that way we don't have to ask you. I don't want you guys to have to wait on the answer, obviously. But if you're talking about Micah Parsons, that's the other thing that kind of upset the apple cart with the Cowboys. The MRIs came back completely clean on Micah Parsons. There's nothing wrong with his back. He was playing that angle, right? Is what was going on there.
And to that point, would Green Bay have even done the trade if they knew something major was going on, right? And is Green Bay even able to get their trainers or whoever to look over Micah? Are they able to do that before the trade happens? Is this trade still just pending a physical once he gets into Green Bay?
Yeah, I think he's fine, to be honest with you.
Me too. I was just wondering. I mean, it's not something they can send out there and do the physical in Dallas. He's got to come into town to do that. Is that right?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Okay.
That's what it would take. Now, maybe there is concern, home. Maybe I'm overlooking it, but I took it as there was nothing there. He was going for a second opinion, although there was also rumors that was a flight to Wisconsin. I don't know if any of that, for all the people that scoffed and laughed at the Reddit post and Little Ricky and all that, Pretty Ricky, whatever the hell his name is, boy, they're looking silly today, which is another reason why people should pump their brakes a little bit, man. Sometimes, listen, we're in the age of social media. News can travel fast. And these people, they're not living under a rock. People are seeing them out there in the public eye.
You called it, Clay, with the "oh my god, you guys." I'm telling you had it right there.
I'm just saying. I know this DMing with Ricky, full disclosure, there was an offer on the table, according to him, from the Packers to Micah. And you go, well, you're not allowed to do that. It's tampering unless the Cowboys give you permission, which tells me Jerry was probably backdoor channeling with Goody in case that didn't surface. Micah didn't know that they were having that conversation. Right. There's a lot of that stuff that goes on as well. There's ways around the rules. If anybody's going to get around the rules, it's going to be that old decrepit Jerry Jones. I promise you that.
I mean, he's still giving his live presser now, Clay.
Yeah. Donovan Schilling says, Ricky, I bet he's trying his best to clean that mess up. Donovan Schilling said, Ricky Scoops is goated. Disrespect for the pup will not be tolerated by Packers Twitter. I don't know if you guys seen his tweet. We showed it on the earlier show. It was phenomenal. It's just him riding off into the sun. He does this every year. When he gets through tweeting, we thought he was deleting his account. We were like, oh, crap, man, don't delete your account, because he hit on so many last year, right? He does this up to week 1. He goes, all right, we're out of here. We'll see you next year. And he just goes quiet.
Unbelievable.
I gotta know who he is.
Gotta be Jacob, can it? It's gotta be. All he does is just ride off into the sunset.
It's gotta be somebody who's so guys. This is a guy that had stuff that Adam Schefter said it was BS with the Terry McLaurin extension when Ricky Scoop said it, and all of a sudden it happened, and Adam Schefter got really, really quiet, which is why the people at ESPN Milwaukee are just rolling their eyes at the whole Ricky. Little, Pretty Ricky post, like he doesn't know anything. Well, do we really trust this? Because Adam Schefter's their ESPN guy, rightfully so. You're going to protect your own, right? You're going to stick up for your own. But, man, yeah. There you go. Donovan Schilling, that might be it. He says it's David Mulugeta's burner. It's somebody like that, for real. It's someone who's really within the know, and they're getting fed information from someone who knows what the hell's going on. And here's what people will say, well, he's missed on stuff too. Show me one thing he's missed on. And the reason I ask that is because the misses are typically, it's not that he missed on it, that just didn't come about. Hey, they're working on this deal. That didn't mean it's going to happen. He didn't say, oh, this is a done deal. It's they're working on this. So really, really interesting how all that kind of comes into play. But let's go to the freezing cold takes, Emilio. This is going to be fun, man. I just stumbled across this. There's going to be some language here, guys. I'm going to obviously not read the language, but anyone who has a kid watching in the room, don't want them to read the wordy dirts. There might be some language on some of these tweets. So freezing cold takes, they just simply pull the recibos on people that make stupid tweets. All right. Hell, I might be on there a couple times. Who knows?
Probably.
Cody Taylor says the Lord moves fast, but freezing cold takes moves faster. There's the video we played for you guys where Michael Irvin said literally minutes before the trade happened, I guarantee Micah Parsons is not going anywhere. Next one. This might be the best. Greg Gabriel says, dude, no one knows who you are. No one cares. F off. Oh, I answered the question several times. I want it again. Parsons isn't getting traded. That's a freezing cold take. Let's move along to the next one. There is no trade. This is from Jack Ekberg. There is uncovered. Uncovered NFL. There is no trade offer on the table for Micah Parsons. There are no talks happening between Green Bay and Dallas. Everything you're seeing is BS. Just desperate people grasping at straws for their chance at going viral and getting the dopamine hit that comes with it. That's a freezing cold take. Let's see. I'll save everyone the trouble. Let's see what this one is. No chance that you bet on that. Okay. No chance in hell Micah Parsons is traded. So recibos aplenty. This looks like a CVS receipt right here. Man.
Oh, this is going to be a long one.
Yeah. So absolutely awesome stuff. Anything else you want to hit on here, Emilio, that we may or may not have covered already, man? I was going to get into some Packers practice stuff, but really, this is the story of the day. We'll get into that.
Yeah, I don't even. Did they practice? They practiced today, right?
They did, and
okay.
I kind of feel like we should get into it
because
now.
Jerry was just talking about. He was just saying, it was still kind of up in the air this morning. I was just listening here and there. He said it was still up in the air this morning. Kenny practiced with us right this morning, so it's not like he had any idea what was going on or anything like that. I mean, by 5 o'clock, you just got out of team meetings. You probably showered, just got home, and you get a text or call. Hey, man, you got to pack up. It's time to roll. Like it, and now Kenny's got to fly to Dallas and practice tomorrow there, but Micah comes into town up here. He's got 3 days to get settled. Monday, we start our season with a new defense ready to roll.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, you can't let him know because you never know when something's going to fall.
Right? Yeah. No. Absolutely. But just crazy to think. That was the last practice with Kenny Clark. Hopefully you've been giving it your all, kind of thing.
And I guarantee you this, and I see everybody in the chat. Kenny will be missed. I guarantee you this: when they caught wind, hey, this trade happened, I bet there was a line out the door telling Kenny goodbye, because his teammates absolutely adored that.
No, absolutely,
such a great guy, man.
Because they run him down. I mean, if it happens when you're still in the building, and the word gets around in 2 seconds, and then they're trying to run Kenny down to say, "Hey, man, appreciate everything you've done, all that, love you," and on to the next thing.
Yeah, Andy Watkins, me too, coach. He was a solid locker room guy, team player. I mean, I look forward to him coming back and retiring as a Packer. That's what I look forward to.
Yeah,
right? That'll definitely happen. So Cody agrees. Kenny for sure will be missed. Coach Lynn, Kenny was probably crying hard. I guarantee he was, man. Guarantee he was. So that's the tough part of the business. We're over here celebrating like, hey, this was a good deal for the Packers, right? You get a great player, wasn't near as much compensation as many people thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it's bittersweet because you lose somebody that I've had a great time rooting for Kenny, man. And that's why it hurt when I was saying 2 years ago, man, I don't know, this contract doesn't feel like a good signing. And you guys know I'm the Positive Packer podcaster, right? Like, you turn on other stations, correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but it feels like it's here's why it won't work. Well, what about this guy's injury? Is Jordan Love really top tier? It's always a question geared around something negative that could happen.
Yeah.
And I just choose not to fan like that, man. If the Packers win 3 games this year, I will be doing a show. I don't know about the guys. I'll be doing a show every day that I can. I'll be doing a pregame show. I'll be doing a postgame show when I'm available, and I will be trying to find the positive in what happened in that game. I'm always going to fan that way. And if people don't like that, if they want to go be miserable, that's, hey, I completely understand. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to be miserable watching the sport that I love. Ain't going to happen, man. So
it's too short a time, right, Clay? What's the point? You get a few months out of it, and then you're tracking down the whole off season. You put in all this time. Why can't you just enjoy it?
Yep, absolutely, man. All right, so we covered the freezing cold takes. We talked about the contractual aspects of everything. Is there anything else you want to hit on, Millie? We kind of looked at the early depth chart there. I guess let's do this. One last thing we could cover. Let me get your thoughts. I'm going to pull up Micah Parsons' PFF career grade one more time.
While you're pulling that up, when I was listening to the Dallas pod, they were talking about comparing this to the Luka trade and how, how it's a major move for Dallas, DFW, whatever, and it's something that's franchise altering. But on top of this, Cowboys got themselves into a pickle to begin with. You paid Dak $60 million. You paid CeeDee Lamb. You were running out of funds to pay your third best, your quote unquote third best player, or, some would say top player on other teams, Micah, and the dude's left out there to dry at 26. It's like, how does Goody find, like Ryan was talking about earlier with X and Jacobs, how do the teams get themselves into the pickle where they're not ready to pay these guys, or they're ready to move on from young talent that's climbing and near the top or heading towards the top of their career?
Right. Yeah. Donovan Schilling said, my son loves this show because of that, Clayton. Well, you tell your son, Donovan, we really, really appreciate him tuning in, man. We really appreciate that. All right. Here we go, Emilio. You ready to hit it? This is Micah Parsons'
They already got him green and yellow. Come on now, let's go.
They get the stripe back there. Look at that, right? I can't wait to see him. Oh, by the way, I need to pull that up. Madden already tweeted out him doing a Lambeau leap.
Okay,
So,
I was just going to ask you, when are they updating the rosters? Because now I need to literally burn the franchise I started down to the ground. I'm already in year 3, and Glover was turning into a 95, and I have to do it all over again. Let me give you a hack
on that. You want a game hack on that? Go in to the Cowboys roster, edit Micah Parsons to a punter, okay? Offer them the proper compensation for it, the 2 first-round picks. Don't you dare cheat that CP. Don't you dare. Trade what you need to trade. Get him over there. Edit him back over. Done deal. He's a Packer. You know what I mean?
I know you're. I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
I know your nerdy ass is probably seven seasons deep over there, though.
Yeah, I'm not. That's tough. Micah might even be out of the league in mine. I need to redo it.
All right, here we go, guys. Last year, PFF grades, weeks 1 through 18. All right. 75, 86, 69, 72, 90, 69, 71, 89, 82, 69, 74. 49 was the worst game. That was against Philly on the road. And then a 90.2 in that season finale against Washington. Here are the career grades. Starting in 2021, his rookie year. Keep in mind, his rookie year, he played, it might have even been his second year too, Emilio. I'm trying to remember. I know he played at least 1 year where they played him primarily at stack backer, the way we play Edgerrin Cooper. We would blitz him from time to time, but he played stack backer, right? Yeah. And then they made the shift over. But nonetheless, 2021, 89.8 as a rookie. Okay, run defense grade 59.9. We talked about that. That's the weak spot. Tackle grade 66, not bad. Pass rush grade 93.0. Coverage grade 69.4. All right. 2022, defensive grade 91.6. Run defense improved pretty remarkably there. Went to a 73.2. Tackle grade dipped a little bit to 63.1. Pass rush grade 92.1. Coverage grade 82.0. That's impressive. Pass rush grade 92. Coverage grade 82. Run defense grade 73. 2022 might be arguably his best year.
And I think that is the year he transitioned down to edge, because it looked like that first one he had, almost 300 snaps in coverage, and then he dropped down to 60, maybe a little bit of linebacker in 22, but mostly edge and then edge moving forward.
Yeah, spot on there for sure. 2023, defensive grade 92.7, run defense 68.1, tackle grade 69.1, pass rush grade 93.7, coverage grade 68. So you're seeing, guys, when we talk about run defense being his weak spot, it's so obvious, right? And you can see it all over the film. If teams run at him, sometimes he can run himself out of a gap. And that's why you got to be strategic, and they need to hone those skills on him. DeMarcus Covington needs to get with him. Hey, here's what we're doing different in Green Bay from Dallas. It's not just pin your ears back. Let's make sure we're stopping the run first and foremost. But those aren't horrible grades, right? This is what we talked about. Like, it's not like, oh, he's a very, very bad run defender.
Right.
It's, that. Put it this way. If you were to take all those pass rush grades and make them the same as his run defense grade, you're talking about a mediocre player, right? But the pass rush is absolutely phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And then last year, a 90.0 defensive grade, 65 run defense, 61 tackle, 91 pass rush, and 76 coverage. So you've got a guy that's pretty much been a 90-plus PFF grade every year he's been in the league. So, again, I think you're getting a dominant pass rusher and a above average to good run defender at the defensive end position. That makes sense. So,
yeah.
Anything you want to add to that?
Absolutely. And I was just trying to take a peek here. Kenny's last year, 33 pressures. So, 28 hurries to Micah's 44, 4 hits, 1 sack, and 33 total pressures. So, I mean, you're adding a positive 40 pressures from last year with Micah, obviously different position. You're adding another, 15 or so hurries. I think just being able to kind of force the QB's hand, I think that's definitely going to help out the secondary. You've got your corners that maybe we were worried about again in the draft. Let's draft a corner first, second round, get him in there. If not, we're going to be out of it. Nope. Goody was playing like 7D chess at that point. Hey, we're going to figure something out here. Take what we need, take our O-line, take our wide receiver. Defense is going to come to us. and now we've got a first-round pick from Micah was 12th pick, and then you got LVN at 13th. You got Rashawn at the 12th. You've got Devontae Wyatt, Quay Walker. I mean, we're stacked. You bring in X, who was a first-rounder. You're running out of spots. I mean, at this point, DeMarcus Covington getting his hands on this many first-rounders. Obviously, Kenny was, but it's just different near that top 10.
Yeah, no doubt, man. So again, that's what you're looking at. I think we need to get us a Chalk Talk episode together real soon. I can get time tomorrow. I'll put it together. We'll put together a Micah Parsons 2024 Chalk Talk. That'd be a lot of fun.
I like that. We're gonna see. It's gonna be a little crazy sometimes. He might not be rushing in the lane every time, but he's gonna get it done. I mean, you're gonna see the speed, the explosiveness, and I mean, it's there. It's on tape.
How the turntables. Hilda Green here in the chat. Still not terrible run defense grades. Go check out our D tackles last year at Run D LOL. Now again, it's not terrible run defensive grades for sure. But yeah, so let's see. We had a couple other things marked here in the chat. I'll make sure I get to them. Where are they at? Here we go. Bungie Cheddarbug says, now we have our tackles practicing against a ridiculous defensive front. Think about how that's going to make them better, Emilio. That's huge. It is.
Imagine getting Anthony Belton getting work from LV and Rashawn. Now add Micah. You got different sets, different types of rushers, different key moves, different favorites, all of that. That's going to be iron sharpens iron absolutely throughout the season.
Yeah. And then United Bates says Parsons is number 6 all-time sacks in the first 4 years. So there you go. Appreciate that.
What do you think, Clay? You think he breaks 10, 12 sacks this year, Micah, or what?
That's a great question. Last year, people like to lean on that. He only played 13 games. This is a great point. I mean, I'm glad you brought it up. Notice his snap count, 694, right? So if we were to go back here,
Kenny Clark last year snap count 685.
There you go. What was Rashawn Gary's? Help me with that real quick. Take your time. 694 was Micah last year. 862 the year before. 917 the year before that. 902 the year before that. Rashawn Gary's snap count. You can even if you have quick access to, you can go the last 3 years. I could probably pull it up here too.
Yeah, you probably need to.
Okay, let me do that.
Mine's not pulling it up.
Yeah, I'd say we're not the only people looking at this right now. So.
It's spinning. But yeah, I mean, looking at Kenny's 685, 259 on run defense, 420 on pass rush. He had a 59.3 defensive grade last year. Run defense of a 57.1, tackling 49, pass rush 63, and a coverage of 64.
Got it. All right. Last 2 years for Rashawn Gary. Obviously, 2022, he had the knee injury. So let's remove the knee injury year. So a normal year under Matt LaFleur, keep in mind, multiple different defensive coordinators. This is what I'm talking about with the snap count, right? Gary in 2021, 681 snaps, okay? In 2023, 586 snaps. In 2024, 638 snaps. So you're on average about, let's call it 630 is what it looks like, right? Well, last year, Micah had 694, but notice the year before he had 862. My question is, are we going to continue? Is Matt LaFleur going to continue with that heavy rotation, right? I think we probably will. So with that being said, on 694, he had 12 and a half sacks last year. I think somewhere between, realistically, Emilio, somewhere between 11 to 15 sacks is what I'm expecting. But what I'm most excited about personally is the pressure rate and him occupying double teams. What will probably happen if they decide we're going to double team Micah Parsons. And I don't know if they will based off how our defensive front is. I know some people are just completely convinced that's what's going to happen. I'm not that sold on that. If it does happen, watch Rashawn Gary's production go up, LVN's production go up a bit if they're truly having to bend in the opposite direction in that regard.
Well, that's it. Taking eyes off of those guys is something that they've never had. I mean, Rashawn had been the king on the line for how long? How many times did he get the doubles? How many times was he getting pushed off and chipped and everything like that? So I can totally see that. United Bates in the chat numbering off the sack leaders. Number 1, White was 70. 2, Gastineau was 60.5. Number 3, Thomas with 58. 4, J.J. Watt with 57. 5, Ware with 53.5. And number 6, Parsons at 52.5.
Yeah, some good company right there.
Clay, does that kind of production and sack pressures, all that? One, let me ask you for the defense first. Hafley, does that help his interest in trying to get the ball turned over? Do you think that we're going to have more pressures? It's going to lead to more picks? Do you think that's going to help? I don't think it'll help the fumble game at anything too specifically, but I think our secondary might eat a little bit this year because of it.
Yeah, I don't know how Hafley's going to look at it, but if I'm telling you, if he catches them trying to double block Parsons, I'm not going to be surprised at all if they have him dropping into coverage out of the edge position, right? In terms of pressure leading the pick, which I think is pretty much what your question is, I think it's going to be hard for us to duplicate what we did last year with interceptions. I hope it happens. Don't get me wrong. But you guys know I've been very vocal that I'm kind of expecting the defense to take a slight step back because teams have all that tape on them. However, Jeff Hafley came out in his introductory press conference when camp started and said, we've already got our install done on defense. We're on to phase 2. And what that means is when you get 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 games into the season and teams have adjusted to what you're doing, he's already got an adjustment, a counter to their adjustments. So
that's why he's in the box too. He can see the whole thing happening right in front of his eyes. Called down, hey Micah, we need you to do this, this, and that. We need to flip you over here. I'm seeing that they're chipping you each time. They're leaving Gary. Let's loop it here. Maybe Gary can take out that double. I mean, it's really going to be endless down there. But you're right. I mean, with X having, what was it, 6 or 8 picks, and then the second closest was Ja with the second highest was Ja with 2. So we're going to need some production from the back end if we want these pressures to turn into something. Hey, if we get pressures and it turns into incompletes and we're punting it, fine. But we need to keep on this turnover. I want to see Micah added into the punching. I want to see him hustle, right? I want to see that first game. Are you running across from your far edge position to the stretch play going to the other side? Are you tracking that down? Do you want to be here? Are we trying to, take this game? That's what I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Definitely. Johnny B in the chat says, I'm so glad we took Golden in round 1 and not a defensive end. Think about that. How many fans were screaming for edge defender, and this fell into place perfect, right? We were screaming. I know I was. I don't want you guys may disagree, Emilio, but I was screaming, man, we need to find our 3 tech of the future.
No, that's what I was saying. Yeah, we talked about that all offseason, all the draft, everything. We need 3 tech and we need to find one.
With that being said, Johnny B, Matthew Golden, what it tells me, what it triggers in my mind is Bill Walsh 101. Wide receiver is the last piece you put in place, right? The fact that Goody thought this is the year to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Don't get me wrong, the grade has got to match up, and I know he tried to trade up for Brandon Ayuk and Justin
Christian. Almost got into the first for Christian, all that.
Yeah, but looking back now, the fact that, all right, you move on from Kenny, and listen, in no way, shape, or form is that a positive you move on from Kenny. It's not like your team got better because you lost Kenny Clark. But future-wise, it helps, and it gives Carl Brooks a chance to grow into that role that Kenny – I will tell you this. What we seen Kenny do last year with the touch spy because of the foot, Carl Brooks can do that. He can do that all – there's not a defensive tackle on the team that couldn't line up in the A-gap, engage with the guard in the center, and then play on his heels 2 gaps and just kind of lag back.
Colby Wooden can do that. He's blown up in camp, and we thought he was on the bubble. Wrong. I mean, that dude's ready to step up, and he's going to be getting serious snaps now.
Right. Yeah.
And so, Cody Newman here in the chat said Colin Oliver can learn directly from the source now. I think that's going to play a big role. I think that'll be huge to get.
That's his style, right? Like we're saying, is he a stack backer? Is he an edge rusher? They think of him as an edge, at least the depth chart suggests. But when we seen him at stack backer on his college tape, breaking it down, coming out of the draft, kind of feels like that type of build, right? That Micah Parsons type build. Not that he's that level of player, but that's the style of player he is.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
A good point. But back to that question, though, about Matthew Golden. So glad we drafted Matthew Golden. Oh, my God, man.
Yeah.
And that's the hindsight we're talking about, right? The Monday morning quarterbacking. When they took Matthew Golden, it's okay. Is he going to be a project? You guys remember when they drafted him, I immediately was like, this means Goody has a higher grade on Matthew Golden than he had on Jaden Reed, than he had on Christian Watson, than he had on all these guys that have been great wide receivers for us, right? That should tell us he should be a step ahead. And I'm, get off the pod that night, and I honestly probably sitting to the side going, what are the chances of this guy being a home run? He looks like a home run so far. So now you get Jordan Love building chemistry with a future number one receiver. Not that we need one that we just force the ball to, but a guy that's that caliber player. And now you got the edge rusher of the future added, whether you keep Gary around for the next 3 years or not. And Devontae Wyatt was in the 90 percentile amongst pressures and interior defensive tackles per snap. That's important to mention because he missed time with the ankle. Hopefully that's healthy. We haven't even talked about Edgerrin freaking Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper, guys, here's the other thing. Micah Parsons has won Defensive Player of the Week one time in, I think, each of the last 3 years. Edgerrin Cooper won it twice last year. Edgerrin Cooper accomplished something last year that Micah Parsons hasn't accomplished. 2 Defensive Players of the Week in the same year. That was according to Homer on the Homer Hour. I didn't fact check it. I'm assuming it's accurate. We got Edgerrin Cooper there. Look at Evan Williams back there with Xavier McKinney. He made the PFW all rookie team.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting, man. And that's why I said 10 to 13 wins is my.
I was just going to ask you, where has that number changed at all?
10 to 13. When I say that, guys, it means, look, low end, if barring any crazy injuries like Jordan Love out for the year, or, insert any other, Rashawn Gary out for the year, somebody like Xavier McKinney out for the year. Barring that, I'm expecting somewhere between 10 to 13 wins, right? With Micah Parsons now on the team, you moved on from Kenny. I feel comfortable saying I'm closer to 12, 13 than 10 or 11. So I feel like this is, you're in that 12 to 13 range. Again, you got to go out there and do it. And the coaches got to get the guys prepared, and the guys have got to be able to adjust on the fly when they get thrown those curveballs and they're getting out schemed. And as Brett Favre once said, way to overcome your coaching, right? That's not the best of coaches, but there's times where players have got to adjust on the fly because, hey, we're getting out coached, we're getting out schemed, right? Yeah. So what about you, Emilio? What would you put them at, man?
No, I think that almost kind of locks in my 12. I think that we need to. Someone in the chat earlier, sorry we didn't mark them all, but they were saying, we finally have beaten the Bears in the offseason. I think that's a W. I think that they are. They didn't spend enough of their money, right? They didn't bring in enough for I don't think they bought in enough O-line help to get them away from Micah at this point. I think that that D-line really is going to just be something to absolutely wreck it. And I'm looking at it like, all right, is this the Reggie? Is this the Charles Woodson of this team, right? We talked about that before. Is that what it's going to get us over the hump? I almost really need us in the NFC Championship at this point. I think I was saying that would be a good year last night to one of the questions. After this, I almost want them in there. So it's, we need to be pushing that 28th pick. That's kind of where we need to end up. And then you'd be getting the most benefit out of this trade, bringing Micah in, not losing a lot on those picks. And even Jared, he goes, "Now I just want you to know we got those 2 picks, but that doesn't mean we can't take those picks and get somebody this year." Like, all right, Jerry, that's okay, buddy. We know you're going to take those and get Arch in the draft. That's fine.
Yeah, man, that's again, I know Packer fans hate Jerry Jones. I don't hate him, man. I think he's good for the game, and it's to me it's kind of bittersweet because and I know we made fun of him. You seen the screen grab earlier. I threw up on the screen. It's all in good fun. He's on his way out, right? Like, let's be honest. Like, it's such a horrible fish. It is what it is, right? It's the turning of a page, the end of an era. The reason I respect what he's done in the game of football, he revolutionized the way that the NFL did business. and giving teams a little more freedom and going out and getting their own sponsorship, this and that. He's a guy who risked everything, and I mean everything, on wanting to own a team. His father almost disowned him because he wanted to buy that professional team because he had struck it so rich in the oil business.
Right.
He said on that, you guys need to watch that documentary. Whether you hate the Cowboys or not, it's a really good. It's just a football history documentary. Is really what it is. The new Cowboys documentary on Netflix. He said when he drilled that oil rig, he said that, and he described it. And I'll botch it. I won't try to go into all the detail, but he said it started spitting, and then it started coughing, and then it started roaring, and that oil came out of there. He said, I made $100 million off that one rig, that one drill. He said,
Crazy.
And I remember thinking, I just bought the damn Dallas Cowboys. Like, he loves the game of football. And he said it before, I could be anywhere in the world. He's filthy rich. He could be anywhere in the world doing whatever he wants. And he chooses to be there running a football team. I respect that.
Yeah.
But that's a dream. Could you imagine owning your own team? And I think we would all agree we would do it different than Jerry does. But as a kid growing up thinking, man, what it would be like. You want to know what one of my dreams are, guys? Seriously, full disclosure, is to get my business to the point where I'm financially secure enough to where I can buy a luxury box at Lambeau Field. This is a long-term goal for me, where I own the tickets to that box and every seat in it, to where I can have people that I care about come and watch the game. I can have Emilio and Jacob and Tim in that box with me. We can randomly pick a bunch of listeners to come in. If you, oh yeah, good luck with that, Clayton. It ain't going to happen. Bet against me. Come see me, and it may take a decade.
Right.
But to me, that's the closest I'll ever be to owning an NFL team. And that just sounds glorious every Sunday going up there and sitting in that box and just taking it all in with 80,000 of the best human beings you'll meet in your life. Because I'm telling you, the people of Green Bay and Packer fans, it's what sold me on being a Packer fan when I didn't have a favorite pro team back in 2003. Just love everything that they represent. So I understand where Jerry's coming from.
Good chat. Bates, Jen Wright,
Bates.
Sign me up.
Yeah,
coach and coach. LOL.
Could you imagine? Seriously.
That'd be
30,
a party.
30 people like that in the box, just slamming wings and watching a ball game.
You got people that would. Eldergrim said he'd move to Green Bay if you get a box, Clay.
There you go. But again, man, that's I say that because it's easy to make fun of Jerry Jones, and I know he's a kook, and I know he's office rocker, and he's probably not the best human being in the world. Many people would say I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I respect the fact that he loves the game so much, he just don't want to put it down.
Yeah. Hey, you set some goals. I mean, are you going to get up every day? You're going to try and chase them, or are we just going to be going through the motions?
Are we going to complain that that's the thing about it's like, well, he's just rich. You just support rich people. No, that dude, he gambled. He's that's what I think they call him, that the gambler in his football team or
and
whatever.
His Cowboys, the gambler and his Cowboys.
Yeah. And he, you know what? He's living the dream. You know, it is what it is. Don't hate, appreciate. Now, he gets some funny sound bites, and we will continue to make fun of it. But I respect him. Jen Wright says 12 to 15 wins. Sign me up, Jen. That would be absolutely awesome.
Will you feel better, Clay, if they go ahead and take those two picks? I mean, I guess I'm kind of answering my question, but would you feel better if they take those two picks, package them, and go get one player with it? Are you still going to be watching those two picks as whoever gets drafted in those spots? Are we still going to run that down and do a little comparison?
I will never look back and be like, oh, we shouldn't have done it, because at the time you do what's best for the organization.
No, absolutely. But,
yeah, I think you've got to. To me, that's in the business world, that's due diligence. It's malpractice if you don't look back and go, all right, we got to be realistic with this. Those picks turned into players.
Yeah, let's check the P&L. What happened here? Who actually left? What is going to be there? You know, I'm a little excited to see who it ends up being, because it's kind of like that Rodgers thing. All right, who did all those picks turn into? How did we get where we were today without those picks? I think that maybe we got set up for this run now to do that. I mean, top 5 defense, Clay. I mean, that's.
Hey, and it's the thing, man. If we fall back from, where we were last year, let's say we go from second in yards per carry allowed to 6th. And let's say pass defense, we go from whatever we finished 5th or 6th back to 8th. As long as we're a top 10 defense, we're good enough to win ball games. And I understand that teams have, film on every single game we play, and there's a chance this defense slides back a little bit. But you know what? There's also a chance the offense goes to number 1 from around the whatever they were, 8, 9, 10 mark, whatever it was, right? Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't care if we finish 25th in both categories. If we win close games, we figure out a way to ink them out and we win a damn Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. That's why I don't get hung up on sacks and this and that. Turnovers, you guys know, I talk about turnovers a lot because, man, that really dictates whether you win or lose a lot of ball games.
Right.
So protect the football, learn how to take the ball away. What's been the emphasis all camp? Ball king, right? So if you can somewhat stabilize the interception count from last year, if it drops a little bit, that's okay. But you come out of +5 or 6 because you force more fumbles and you go for that record, whatever that record was that the ball king set. It's going to come out in the wash. The goal is to be in every single game, every single week, and have a shot to win. That's why I get frustrated when casual fans go, we never put our foot on their throat. That's because we were up by 10 points, and we know now the clock is our opponent, not that team.
Yep.
Like, win the game. Don't get cute. Don't try to impose your will on a team. Those are just catchphrases that casual ass fans say when a team doesn't do exactly what they want them to do. And I don't know, it's laziness sometimes that people don't want to learn. Like, there's a reason that we called a draw play on 3rd and 8 rather than pass the ball.
Yeah.
Because the analytics show, all right, even if we don't pick it up, we're going to run 35 seconds off the clock, punt that thing away, pick up 60 yards of invisible yardage with Daniel Whelan, and now they've got a lesser shot of winning the ball game as opposed to us going, well, if we get a first down, we win. That's just kind of how I look at it. So
our Tony Holman, not the Tony Holman, Clay, he says defense wins championships. Are we thinking that this defense can carry us in a couple games if Jordan Love gets hung up, maybe a pick or two, maybe have a bad game here or there? Defense good enough to hold us through those wins?
I think what it does, especially with you acquiring Micah, let's say that Kenny was a staple in our run defense last year, right? Well, that's going to hurt your ability to stop the run a touch, okay? But with Micah, what that does is when you get into a close game and you're up by 4 points and a team's trying to drive on you and you get them in a 3rd and 8, Micah is going to play a big role and get pressure on that.
Because what was our issue last year? We couldn't get out of 3rd downs. We got them to 3rd downs a lot. We needed to get out of the 3rd down situation. We had way too many conversions.
Yeah, and it kind of came out in the wash at the end because I seen a statistic that came across earlier. I could probably find it on my X. I tweeted it earlier today. I thought it was real interesting. Maybe it was late last night. I see that super chat, Will and Al Swerdowski. Thank you so much, buddy. We'll get to it in just a second. Where's that tweet at? Because it was about the defense. Here we go. I won't put it on the screen, but I said it's a direct result of Jeff Hafley playing to stop the run. Let me put it on the screen. Hell, I'm over here talking about it. Might as well throw it up. And then we'll get out of here too, Amelia. I apologize. We're going over a little bit.
No, we're good.
I'm tired of talking.
Big news. I mean,
if you're ever going to do a long pod, this is the one, right? So here was the stat that PFF put out. The most efficient defenses at preventing scores last season. Again, what is the goal? Don't let them score points and you score points. That's what determines who's the champion, right? It sounds silly and people are probably like, oh, no poop, Sherlock. I got you. Well, there's many fans that I would rather have sacks than these statistics. What are you talking about? Scoring, offense, and defense is the most important statistics there is. Denver Broncos, longest scoring drive rates, allowed on lowest scoring drive rates allowed on defense. Denver was number 1 at 31.3. Tied for second was the Vikings and the Eagles at 31.6. The Chargers were 4th at 32.6. Green Bay was 5th at 33.0. That's the number we should be keying on, is keeping the other teams from scoring. A direct result of Jeff Hafley playing to stop the run first and foremost. This was all coming together with a 4-man rush that was harnessed, sometimes truly only rushing 3 because of the touch spot, the 2 gap, while a portion of the Packers media was screaming how bad the pass rush was. Let them keep screaming it. As long as we're keeping them out of the end zone, that's all that matters to me. That's why scoring defense will always be king to me. Will and Al Swerdowski with the super chat. Thank you, buddy. He says, little luxury box contribution. Thank you for that, Al. We appreciate you.
That.
You guys are way too kind in here in the chat. So anything else, Emilio? Back to the defense thing. Defense wins championships. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does, but there's got to be a balance. There's got to be gone, in my opinion, gone are the days of the 2000 Baltimore Ravens, the 85 Chicago Bears, those type of teams where the defense just, absolutely drags a team to the championship. You got to have a good defense, but you got to have an offense that can capitalize when the defense does come up big. So
no, absolutely. a couple of the chats in that live stream. One dude was saying Green Bay can't even control their rookies. I don't even know who he's talking about that. Another one said we're going to be 60 million down, and you lost 2 picks. Good luck with that, Green Bay. Then I'm scrolling through this dude, this Cowboys fan. He goes, trade the whole franchise for a McDonald's. # disband Dallas. It's you either have everybody excited that he's gone, because their take is, hey, he shows up for the bad games and he can't show up for big games against, tough teams type thing. I'm not so sure. I'm not so certain about that.
We had a pretty deep conversation before about I told you, you correct me if I'm wrong. I might be misremembering this, but I remember telling you, man, I love listening to Dallas Cowboys podcasts and stuff because their fans are they're either on top of cloud 9 or they're just down here in the dumps. It's always so entertaining, right? Tomorrow, Emilio, will be the day to listen to Dallas Cowboys podcast. I'm just telling you.
And I have been. I've been trying to keep an eye. They had literally had a call-in session. They had a 6 o'clock call-in session or whatever. People were calling in screaming. I mean, this is the greatest thing ever. Good riddance to that guy. Wouldn't want to pay him 40 million, whatever. Packers are going to be screwed. And then they finish the call with, I wish we got a little bit more than 2 picks though. I mean, and Kenny, and I think that they are trying to deal with it. But man, I'm pretty happy with the way Goody handled that.
Yeah. Elder Grimm with the super chat said, fill your private box with pictures of A-Fans bomb from me. All right. So thank you for the super chat, Elder Grimm. Listen, you're not out of hand here. Don't take this the wrong way, but we were informed that A-Fam's mom had passed away. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. Full disclosure. That's why we stopped joking about it. I never want to try to hurt anybody's feelings. That's not the goal there. Everybody was joking about it, so we had a good time with it. But thank you for the super chat. But yes. I do want to make it clear that's why we're not saying it anymore. It was all in good fun, and A-Fam talks crap with the best of them. Let's be honest. He's always in here trying to get
everyone. He is. And Elder Grimm, like we said, not against you, man. Don't feel bad.
I feel bad.
But A-Fam was saying in the chat one night that, and so ever since that night, we kind of just avoided it, moved on from the pictures. Even though that RAV4 Jacob got fired up pretty good, but we did try to. The
RAV4 in the Photoshop was more of the joke than saying about anybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
The RAV4 was just money, man. I remember those things being everywhere when I was in high school. So, Jacob, we're about to wrap up, man. I'm going to get in trouble here. I appreciate you jumping back on. Want to say this real quick. DJ Schultz, that's Trucker John's son, got the package. Man, I'm so excited. We're going to be adding a little piece of Trucker John memorabilia right back here on the shrine. I'm excited about that. And his wife Angel had sent me a package and the coolest little football locket that's got a little bit of Trucker John's ashes in it. Man, what an honor! What an honor for her to think of us to send that to. So, got a shirt too. It says "Do it for Trucker John." Super Bowl, man. How he's grinning like a possum in a dumpster looking down now. Could you imagine? Oh, I love it. So, but DJ Schultz says, roll Badgers, guys. It is 8:58 my time. I'm pretty sure. Let me double check. We are kicking off right now in 1 minute at Camp Randall Stadium. It's Wisconsin Badger football season. So we're going to get out of here. Jacob, you've got the final word here, sir.
Well, if you guys knew what I just had to deal with, I'd tell you what. But no, man, what a good end to what a weird end to a great day. I think that the chat and the overall fan base is pretty happy. I got a chance to just scour through some Facebook groups of mine and obviously group chats and X, Instagram, all that stuff. It seems like the majority of people are over the moon, and I am one of them. We had our stipulations to what would be acceptable to make this trade and what we were willing and not willing to give up. And to me, Goody just smoked a freaking 600-yard drive right down the middle of the fairway, hole in one. Just happy Gilmore'd it. Have you seen that one, Clay? Have you seen that movie?
The original, yes. I still haven't seen the second.
Oh, good Lord. We'll talk about it in 20 years once he gets around to it.
That's fine.
Paul Bailey will be ready for it. I'll get my hearing aid out, and we'll be good to go.
Does anybody know where you can watch the Badger game legally? Is it on Big Ten, or is that not a thing? I can't remember now.
You care all of a sudden about stuff that's legal.
Yeah, seriously.
You guys know me. By the book.
So I'm showing Fox Sports. It's free on Fox Sports. So
okay.
But the real game you want to watch, Jacob's on FS1. It's UB versus Minnesota. Okay, the Bulls, baby.
What about Central Arkansas and Missouri? Missouri's already
actually is it home for Central Arkansas or what?
No, it's at Missouri.
Oh, because I was going to say they got a clean stadium over there.
Good rebuild on college football 26.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, all right, let me give a shout out to everybody, man. Y'all were really, really kind today with the super chats. King Tron, thank you, buddy. Drake Jackson, thank you so much. King Tron again. Josh Martin with the super chat. Dan Mullins with the super chat. Will and Al Swiderski with the super chat. And Eldegrim, thank you so much. And honestly, Eldegrim, don't feel bad. That wasn't the reason I said that. I was just trying to inform everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just let that one go. AFAM's a friend. I know he's a troll. He loves getting on everybody's nerves, but he's still a friend. And we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings in that regard. So we're out of here, guys. We'll see you tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Central Time for PTA Live. Tomorrow's Friday, right? Oh,
Friday. Tomorrow is Friday, and it's a 3-day weekend, Clay. So what are we doing?
Friday Night Lights tomorrow night, man. I think we'll do a show tomorrow night. I'll let y'all know. I might take the night off and put together I love how you just roll through them. That's absolutely awesome. I may put together a chalk talk for Micah Parsons tomorrow, and then we'll hit it on Saturday. That might be the way.
Oh, this is Caleb with the news.
Go Pack Go! Can't believe this actually happened, says Nick McSwain. So, yeah, Caleb, get ready, buddy. You're, I know you're a little light on your feet.
Caleb said, "I'm getting sacked."
65%. 65%. That's what
Perfect inning. All right, guys. Everybody have a great night. Enjoy the Badgers game, and let's go get that dub over at Camp Randall Stadium. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
Here we go. We're out.
Bye, guys.